Hey, what's up guys? So in this video, I'm going to show you how to use LINQ expressions to find the first and the last element within a collection that meet a given condition. Okay, so on screen you can see I've set up this MS test project. On screen now I've got this account class which is just quickly set up, just with a few properties, an int ID and string username is all that really matters at this point. If we look at this first test I've got set up, first underscore ID underscore found, it's just to show that if we set var account is equal to accounts.first with a lambda expression pointing to where x.id is equal to 0, that will just return us the first that matches that condition. Of course, there's only one. So we can assert then that that account.username, where the ID is equal to 0, should return the account that has the username of Barwick Technology. So if I run that test, go to my test explorer, we can see that is passing. Perfect. And comment the next test. So now here we're testing for a condition where it's not found through this LINQ expression. So var account is equal to accounts.first, where the ID is equal to 99. So you can see in this list of accounts we have, there is none with the ID of 99. The IDs go through 0 through to 4. So this is going to cause us an issue because with this first method, if I run that, the test will fail. And this is because when it can't find an element that matches that condition, it'll throw an exception. So say we were going to put that in a test, we can handle that by instead asserting that trying that will throw an exception at that point. So if I try rerunning this now, both are passing. We can see that now does throw an exception. So far we can see that if it matches that condition, it'll return the first one. If there is no match, it'll throw an exception with this first method in LINQ. Okay, so uncommenting the next one. So now for each element in that list of accounts, we're trying to find by username. So accounts.first, where x.username is equal to, and then each one that we have. We're then asserting that for each of those found, the ID property for them matches. So this will just show that it has actually managed to find those elements. If I run that, you can see everything's still passing. So it can find by any property, as long as you tell it what it's looking for. So again, as was proven with the ID, if we try to have it find by the first element that matches that condition, if there is no element that matches it, when you're searching for the username property, it will still throw an exception. There we go, that's passing as well. So in the situation where there are multiple elements that match, in this example, we're checking where from that list of accounts, we want the first element where the username contains a H. So for our list, that would be the usernames of Barwick Technology, Alpha, and Charlie. Beta and Delta don't contain H's, so they will not be returned in that list. But we want the first, so what we should get from it would be Barwick Technology and not Alpha or Charlie. If I run that test, we can see it's passing, so the first So the result was biotechnology, the first element in the list that matches with that condition. Okay, so that was the first method. If we move on to the last method, again we have this set up with a list of accounts. If I uncomment this test, this will return the last ID found. So obviously here where it's accounts.last, where x.id is equal to 0, we only have the one element here that should match it. So obviously if there is only one element, the last would be that one element. If we run this, we can see that that is true. Test Explorer, everything is green. Okay, so uncommenting the next test. Again, in the situation where there is no element found that matches the condition, with this method, an exception will be thrown again. So accounts.last, where the ID is 99, there is no account in that list of accounts with an ID of 99, so it should throw an exception. There we go, it has. So now that we're checking that for each of these, for each username here, it can pull up that account. So account biotechnology, account alpha, it's just checking that the username matches with the string provided. That gives us account biotech, account alpha, account bravo, account charlie, and account delta. And then we're just comparing that to the IDs we believe they should have, just to check that all the accounts have been found correctly. If I run that test, there we go, everything's worked as expected. We've managed to find those accounts. Again, where there is no username that matches the condition for this, an exception will be thrown. There we go, test passes, so that exception was thrown. So for this test, again, where multiple elements exist that match that condition, this time we want to get the last. So previously we were getting the first, which was biotechnology, from that list of biotechnology, alpha and charlie. We want charlie as it's the last in that list of accounts that matches. That's what that assert is checking. If I run that, we've got it. So that account from accounts.last, where username contains H, we get those three, and the last one is Charlie. So that assert has worked. So that was the first and last LINQ expressions. A lot of the time when we do this, where it can't find the element, we don't actually want it to throw an exception. So for those we can use FirstOrDefault and LastOrDefault. So if I start uncommenting these again, now where it finds the elements matching the condition, everything will work the same. So there we go, everything's still passing, it's finding that account with an ID of 0, and we're getting the account at username is equal to biotechnology. Where it's not found, however, whereas previously we had an exception thrown, so accounts.FirstOrDefault with the ID of 99, it's not in this list. We did have an exception using just the first expression. Now, this method should return a null. There we go. It's passing. So where it can't find an element that matches the condition, instead of an exception, it returns null. Okay, so this test just shows again that it can find all the accounts that match the condition. That checks that. Run that, should work. Yep, no change there. Now this one, where it's checking the username of this list of accounts for one that matches the string echo. It doesn't exist in our list. Previously we'd have had an exception. Now we shouldn't get an exception. It should just return a null for that account. The test is passing, so the assertion is that the value we get for account returned from that LINQ expression is equal to null. And in the case where there are multiple accounts found for the condition matching on username, so accounts.FirstOrDefault, where the username contains the H, biotechnology, alpha, and Charlie, we want the first, so we're going to get biotechnology. If I run that test, it's passing, so no change there. Going over to LastOrDefault, again, we should have no changes. Let's uncomment first all the tests where it should be finding the elements. I'll leave that last one for a second. So if I run these tests, should both pass, shouldn't be any changes. Yep, tests are all green. No problems there. So where they're not found, same as FirstOrDefault. Sorry, uncomment the test. Where they're not found, LastOrDefault, we don't want an exception, we just want it to return a null where it doesn't meet the condition. We run that test, we're certain that it equals null for account, and the test is passing. Everything's green. We're just testing on the username. We're looking for a username that equals echo from that list, and we want the LastOrDefault. Obviously that's not in our list, we haven't got an account with the username of echo. We don't want an exception thrown, we just want the account returned as null. We're checking for that with the LastOrDefault. If I run the test, we can see that it is giving us null. Just this last one now, where we've got multiple elements found. We just want the last. So Charlie, same as just with the last one. Run test. And the tests all pass. Happy days. So basically, first and FirstOrDefault, where they do find an element that matches a condition, it will return the first element that matches it within that list. LastOrDefault, when there are elements that match the condition, it will return the last element within that list that matches the condition. The difference between first and last, compared with FirstOrDefault and LastOrDefault, with the first and last methods, when it cannot find an element that matches within that list, then you'll get an exception thrown. With the FirstOrDefault and LastOrDefault, when it can't find an element that matches, it simply returns a null. For this case, it'll just return the default value for that type. So here where we got the class, the account class, the default would be a null. The default may differ if you're dealing with non-nullable types, like an integer. Okay, so that's it. You'll use these LINQ expressions all the time to replace nested for loops and if statements when you're trying to find an element. Most of the time, these LINQ statements will do that for you perfectly. Thanks for your time. Please leave a like if you found this video helpful, and subscribe if you'd like more videos like this. Cheers.